So if nature can heal us, and he also said, food is the medicine, and thy medicine shall be thy food. So the way he would heal people is by addressing their lifestyle habits, rest, special diet, and so forth. And just a side note, surgery, I don't think he used surgery, but there was surgery in ancient India as part of Ayurvedic medicine. So people did use surgery in a healthy way. Today, surgery is questionable specifically because all the drugs are bad for the body. So now we transfer to modern time. And there's a doctor named J.H. Tilden. I think this was in the 50s. And he got fed up with his practice. He wasn't curing anybody. So he says, he's kind of an outspoken person. He says, I resolved to either quit the profession or find the cause of disease. This is a medical doctor. And then he finds the cause. And what he says, and I don't think this is the whole story, but this is part of the story. During our life, our cells are always producing waste products. Our body is producing waste products. And when we can't get rid of the waste products properly, the waste gets stuck in our body and we get sick. So so our cells are always making waste, and if somewhere that elimination process gets stuck, then we'll get sick. And what that sickness is, when people get sick, runny nose. Your body is pushing out something that's in it with the mucus. A tumor, your body's encapsulating something. So I'm going to try a rash. So your body's pushing out something that's in it through the skin. So he's saying all these things that we call a disease is not the disease, it's the symptom. The body is responding to a set of circumstances. And then Western medicine comes in and looks at it really narrowly and says, that's a disease. You have this little thing. So he concludes, you'll probably like this one too, there's no hope that medical science will ever be a science. Because it separates the disease from the person. And you can't do that, because the person and the disease are one. Because the disease is caused by who you are, by how you live. And when you look at the disease without looking at the person, you're wasting your time. You're never going to cure them. So this is a regular medical doctor who comes to this conclusion. So this is from a book called The Gospel of the Red Man. It's about someone who studied American Indians. This is 1930s. The civilization of the white man is a failure. It is crumbling. It's failed its every test. No one who measures things by the results can question this statement. And then he says, the civilization of the white man is based on material gains, and the measure of success is how much property I've acquired. The measure of success of a native person is spiritual. His measure is how much service have I given to my people. Part of why you all come here, and part of why I have to write the book, is because nobody tells you what's truthful about illness. It's totally false pretty much by this point. They're just making stuff up. So now we switch to Carolyn Dean, who wrote a book called Death by Medicine. A definitive review of peer-reviewed medical journals has shown the following. Every year, 2.2 million people have adverse reactions to Western drugs. 20 million people per year are prescribed unnecessary antibiotics. Now, these statistics are from published conventional Western medicine statistics in published journals. It's not other surveys. 7.5 million people per year have unnecessary medical and surgical procedures. 8.9 million per year unnecessary hospitalization. And the biggest statistic is 783,000 deaths per year from Western medicine by published statistics. So that's when they say our society is crumbling, and then we see it. And actually, it's actually worse than what they're saying. So we go to Dr. Rath, who actually is in Santa Clara here, and he says, throughout this 20th century, the pharmaceutical industry has organized itself to control healthcare. It has replaced natural therapies with patent drugs. They have deliberately defined the human body as a marketplace. The premature death of millions of people is not a coincidence, but it's organized. The system has been organized by the pharmaceutical industry to control a global drug market and to make trillions of dollars. As a result, Dr. Rath has submitted a complaint, which has not yet been heard, in 2003 to the World Court, saying that pharmaceutical companies are guilty of genocide. So yeah, it's good that he did it, but what's not good is how we get affected by it. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the spiritual side of this, because when you hear these bad things, you have to say, why does this happen? Why is it like this? Why aren't we told the truth of disease? Why is our raw milk getting taken away? Why can't we have, organ meats? Why is it legal to have these inhumane, animals with the bad food? Why is that legal? And the food additives and all these things that make us sick. So the spiritual teaching says everyone is facing a calling in life to change. There's something in you that's calling on you to do something. And he says, as long as disease is not cured from within, there will always be disease in the world and war. And the disease within is not just the food you're eating, it's your perspective on life, the materialistic perspective. It's the perspective that made the ancient people in ancient China sick, where they're caught in the world of form, of acquiring things, and not into the world, let's say, of more spirit, where the value of where the values of love and compassion come first. He also says, this is spiritual channeling, physical disease and illness come, and death. Death is actually a result of inner divisions and conflicts and a denial of pleasure. So we actually spend our time denying our pleasure and then filling it with pseudo pleasures, watching TV, eating junk food. That's not junk food, but eating junk food, or whatever, having a nice car. So I'll say a little from Eckhart Tolle. Life is now. There never is a time when your life is not now, nor will there ever be. And what Eckhart teaches is that it's our mind, it's our collective consciousness that's the most dangerous thing on the planet. So Weston Price, he traveled all over the world to see what happens to cultures, to sort of prove a theory that he had, to see what happens when cultures encounter modern food. And he says something's radically changed, because in one example, they examined a group of 20,000 skulls and find that there was no tooth decay and there was no disease. But yet in the last 100 years, the same group of people in the same civilizations now have all kinds of disease. Something must have happened to cause this.